So problem number 9 says to find the value of x for the right triangle. So I'm going to copy this right triangle here. So we're finding the value x. To find the value of x, and we're given a right triangle, a 60-degree angle, x and 11. Okay, so this is a 60-degree angle, which should indicate to you that this is a special angle. The special angles are 30, 45, and 60 degrees, or pi over 6 radians, pi over 4 radians, or pi over 3 radians. So you don't actually have to solve this using a calculator. It doesn't say not to. You could solve this using a calculator, but I would prefer that you do this using special angles. So it wants us to find the value of x, and I've got an angle, and I've got a side length, and I've got another side length where 11 is the hypotenuse, and x is opposite to 60 degrees. I think I spelled opposite correctly. Okay. So I've got a triangle, I've got an angle, I've got side lengths. So that's going to indicate to me that if I want to solve a particular side length, I'm going to need to use a trigonometric function. Because I know sine of an angle is opposite over hypotenuse, cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse, tangent is opposite over adjacent. So if I'm looking at these, I know that this is the opposite, this is the hypotenuse, so I can take sine of 60 degrees. And that's equal to opposite over the hypotenuse. So if you don't remember that, you can always look at a list of the trigonometric functions. That'll help you out for knowing which one's opposite and which one's the hypotenuse. Just keep in mind that you're always looking at the angle that's given, or the angle you're using the trig function of. So the opposite is the one across it, adjacent is the one next to it, and the hypotenuse is the longest side, or the side length opposite the right angle. Now, if you were using a calculator, which I don't want you to do, but if you were using a calculator, you could just multiply both sides by 11 and get x is equal to 11 sine of 60 degrees. That would give you an approximate value. So in a calculator, that would be an approximate value. But we don't need to do that because it's a special right angle. I can use the special right triangles. And one of the special right triangles is a 30, 60, 90. I know I drew that small. So it's a 30, 60, 90, where recall that that is just half of an equilateral triangle. And I'm going to make the side length 2, because when I cut it in half, that gives me 1. So if I use the Pythagorean theorem, which I'm not going to do now, I know that that side length is root 3. In other words, sine of 60 degrees, well, in this case is x over 11, is also opposite over hypotenuse in this 30, 60, 90 special right triangle. So sine of 60 degrees is root 3 over 2. So I can just write sine of 60 is root 3 over 2. And that's x over 11. So I can multiply both sides by 11. And so x is just 11 root 3 over 2.